Can't hear you, Britt.
Sorry, taking a long time for me to find the unmute button. You can start, Dr. Wood. We're ready.
So did we not do this? We did this one already.
We did. We started this one off, so we're ready to go right into our presentation and our norms.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to be talking about uplifting our voices, this one unison voice that we're going to have so that we can all commit to each other and commit to building a stronger community within the school district of Philadelphia. And this is coming to you from the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, which speaks to community. So today's objective is to create a shared language and knowledge around building our understanding of what the School District of Philadelphia's equity framework is. And we're going to do that through looking at what the definition of equity is and how it relates to the needs of our students and our children. As an East Indian person, my needs are going to be a little bit different from, say, someone who is not an English speaker, but our children still have all of these shared needs, which is going to come down to education, fair and equal, and getting all of the things that they need so that they can be successful. And so our objective today is to figure out how it relates to the framework that the school district has in place. And as with all things, we have to have some norms. For me, I'm like, think before you speak, before you act, unconditional positive regard, which means we're going to think with open minds and open hearts and hear with open ears before we actually respond. So some of those norms that we're going to partake in today is going to be staying engaged. We may not like everything that we hear, but in order for us to get to the next step, we have to actually be engaged with each other, present in this space and in this time. Be vulnerable and open-minded. Please know that this is indeed a safe space. We want to hear your views because that's the only way we can help and move forward. Step into your power. Know that your voice is valuable, right? And that we want to hear it. We need to hear it so that we can build with each other. Step up and step back. It's okay to say, I disagree. It really is okay to say, I disagree, but back it up. Tell me why you disagree. Maybe I need to learn something. And so step up and step back. So step up and sometimes step back, right? So that way we can actually have a real and open dialogue. And expect and accept a lack of closure. This is 2022. We haven't perfected it yet. And I doubt it's going to happen tonight. But what we can do is answer some questions for each other and with each other so that we can continue to build our community. If our family members, while we're virtual, please silence your mic. If you're not talking at that moment, go ahead and let's do that because the feedback can be real. Engage, be engaged all the time as best as you can. There are some cute little reactions there where you could raise your hand or give a thumbs up. All of those things are wonderful. We can see it and we will definitely acknowledge it. We know that we have already agreed that we're going to be on here. So we're asking that if you see me, I'd love to be able to see you. It's not about passing judgment. It's just about conversations happen nicer and easier and better when we can see each other and relate to each other. Please be patient and understanding. I talk in paragraphs, so I'm gonna slow down and close my mouth a little bit. Be patient with me a little bit and use your voice, right? This is supposed to be a dialogue. And while typing in the chat might seem a little safer, understand that just like in text messages, tone can't be perceived in chat. But if you talk to us, it's much easier, much better when we can actually have that dialogue. And it makes it better, more interactive when we actually see and hear and talk to each other. So if we can all agree to those norms, can I please have a thumbs up? If you're not so sure about some of those norms, give me a thumbs down. If there's some you're like, give me a thumbs to the side, all right? I saw 2 thumbs. Oh, I see some more thumbs. I appreciate your thumbs. And some people did it with little icons. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you, Michelle, for your thumbs up. But we're going to talk, right?
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Wood, for that.
You're very welcome.
So my name is Amanda Shields. I work for the School District of Philadelphia. And so today, before we get into the equity definition itself, we really wanted to take some time to think about our core values and the values that we share as a community, the values that maybe we have that are different. But we know that the core values that you hold as parents, the core values that we hold, all of us as members of this community of the School District of Philadelphia, are really important to the work that we're doing, especially as it comes to work towards equity and making sure that our systems and our structures are equitable. So we're going to start with this little activity. It's going to seem like really quick, but it's a great way to sort of filter out all of the things that you find to be important and really focus on those very specific core values that you hold dearest to you. So I'm going to put a link in the chat to a list of core values. Understanding, oh, thanks, Brittany did it too. Understanding that this list does not necessarily encapsulate all core values. So if there's anything on here that you are not seeing, but you hold dear to you, that is fine. So we're going to take 2 minutes to just review the core values. And then after that, we're going to take 1 minute to pick your top 10. Then you get 30 seconds to pick your top 5. And then you're going to have another 30 seconds to write down your top 3. And we're going to give you a link to a Padlet to do that. So we're going to start with just the 2 minutes. I'm going to set a timer. So just take 2 minutes to review that list. Look at all of them, think about them, find the ones that resonate with you. We'll start the 2 minutes now. About 1 more minute.
I just reshared the core value list again for our new participant that just came in.
We've got about 30 more seconds to review that list, just for your initial thoughts. All right, so that was 2 minutes. So now we're going to take 1 minute to write down your top 10 from that list. So if you have a paper and pencil handy, or if you like to use your computer, take 1 minute to write down the 10 core values from that list, or any others that resonated with you. Make a list of 10 for 1 minute now. About 30 more seconds. All right. So now you take that list of 10 and you have 30 seconds to write down the top 5 from that list of 10, or just circle the ones, the top 5 that resonate with you. So now we have 30 seconds starting now. Five more seconds for those top 5. All right. And so the last step is to write down your top 3. And we're going to use a Padlet so that you can add them onto the Padlet and we can all see each other's top 3 core values. Brittany just put the link to the Padlet in the chat. Oh, the next 30 seconds take to write your top 3 core values on that Padlet. And if you're not familiar with Padlet, there's a little plus button when you open it that allows you to just pick up something and write.
Yeah, I can show. So can everyone new share? Is everybody able to see this? Okay. So if you hit the plus sign down here, you should be able to add your thought there.
Nice. About 10 more seconds. Try to get your top 3 on that Padlet. All right. So I thank you, Lori, for adding yours. I added mine on there. You see love, nature, and freedom. Mine were honesty, collaboration, empathy. Lori's had empathy too, which wasn't actually even on the list, but we both added that one. Connection, personal growth. Anyone else want to just unmute and name your top 3 if you didn't get to put them on the tablet, the Padlet?
Hi, I'm Iris. Mine are love, honesty, and empathy as well.
Excellent. See some definite connections.
Okay, so I want to take myself off.
No problem. It's the authenticity, community, and caring from Helena. That's great. All right, so we can, if we want to move on to the next piece of this activity, we're going to go into breakout rooms. And so you're going to have a chance to see, oh, well, if we want, we can see any trends or themes from the ones that came up on the Padlet. Or I guess we can do that in your breakout rooms, I think. So we're going to go into breakout rooms. You'll be in a smaller group. And these are the questions that you're going to discuss. And, you know, it doesn't, you can go in order from 1 to 4, or you can focus on the questions that really stand out to you. But we really want you to just focus on those core values that stood out to you and they're most important, and how those core values really impact your behaviors, your decisions, and the things that you do daily. And maybe sometimes there's like a misalignment between those core values and what you actually do, which I know definitely happens to me in the heat of the moment, or when I'm stressed. Sometimes those core values get pushed down. And then really the ones that you want to center the most today in our discussions about equity, and in the future when we're talking about equity for the children. So we're going to break into rooms. Brittany put those questions in the chat, so you have those there to discuss in your groups. And then we'll take about 8 minutes to do that and then come back to the group. Any questions? Everybody understand what we're doing? Okay.
I think it might be helpful to explain, especially for the people who just came on.
Sure, no problem. So we were just looking at a list of core values, which we can put in the chat again, and just picking out the top 3 that really resonated and connected with us individually. And now we're going to go into groups together to just talk about those core values with each other and see what trends we notice, what similarities, what differences we experience, and how we sort of want to carry those core values with us. All right, so I think if you're ready, Brittany, we can break out. There we go.
Are you okay? Yes, my aunt's on her. She didn't have to go to a room. She didn't want to. All right. I'm going to join the first one.
Yeah, I'm going to join too.
Okay. How many minutes did we say?
We said 8. I could set a timer if you want.
Okay. But you can bring us back, right?
I think so. I don't know.
Let me set the 8 timer.
Okay.
Okay, just in case.
Okay.
Right. Let's go.
Gina and Michelle, do you need any help getting to your rooms? I might join room 3 then, because it looks like just Rhonda's. Oh, just Rhonda's in there. Oh, there's Jean. Jean's in there. Okay, good.
Okay.
All right. Looks good.
Rhonda's here. You okay, Rhonda? Hi. I didn't mean for you to go into a room.
That's totally fine. I'm by myself, so I better come back out. That's not good.
Oh, someone else just joined your room. So, but I'll go. I can go in there because
okay, I'm gonna
join with her.
1.
Yeah, I'm gonna join room 3.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either.
Maybe she sent herself to the room. I don't know.
Trying to join 3.
You okay? Hello. Michelle and Aisha. I'm not sure if they can hear me. Hello, Michelle. Aisha. I don't understand signs, so I can't communicate with you back.
I'm going to bring everybody back now. Okay. Oh, I got another person coming in. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you for coming. We just did a core value activity.
Okay.
So people are coming back from the breakout rooms now. We're going to share before we move into our equity definition. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I was on another PD.
No worries. Carrie, can you see that? Rhonda, I mean.
Yes. Okay. Is this where you need me to step in?
No. We are going to, I'm waiting for everybody to come back.
Okay.
All right, welcome back. Hopefully you were having some good discussions. I know the discussion in my room was excellent. We got cut off, unfortunately, but We were really getting to some important issues around these questions. So I think we'll just take a few minutes to debrief from your discussion. If there's anything that came up, we'd love to hear some key takeaways from those discussions. You can come off mute or you can put it in the chat. Any of your key takeaways from your discussion with your group.
I don't mean to put Gene on the spot, but he said some good things when it comes to his core values. I don't know if you want to share maybe one of them, Gene?
Like you're putting me on the spot. One thing that I mentioned, and again, thank you for having me, it's just like having patience and consistency. And I work for a school district. One thing that I realized is just like when we work with family, and majority of the family that we work with, we're trying to hear from family who normally don't feel part of the school system, or we're not really engaged with for some reason, because the way school system are designed, it's never designed for family to be part of that community. And therefore we have a lot of parents that are either not equipped to engage in meaningful conversation with a child teacher, or either they don't feel comfortable entering that space. They don't have the educational know-how to engage in that conversation, or they have bad experience with the school system growing up themselves. And therefore it's just like trying to be patient and consistent with like how we communicate, and how often we communicate with our parents, and how we engage with minority youth and minority parents in the school system.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Gene. That's very important to think about. Any other key takeaways or any of the core values that really stood out that you want to center the most in this conversation about equity? I know in our discussion, we talked about empathy and respect and how important both of those are, both in the work that we're doing in the school district, but with our own families and our own children, modeling and as much as possible leaning into those core values. Any others that people wanted to highlight? You can just keep them in your head and in your heart as we continue working and we look a little bit closer at the equity definition.
Yes, so thank you so much, Amanda. And my name is Brittany Williams. I am an academic coach and I support children and families with pre-K. So we're going to dig a little bit into the Sdp Equity Framework, and we're going to zone in on the equity definition. And one thing I want you guys to really take in when you think about our framework, it's broken up into about 5 parts. So we start with the Sdp equity definition, which basically gives us our shared understanding of the work that we're doing. It goes into our core values, our core beliefs, which list our 5 core beliefs that guide our equity work. We have our equity lens, our living glossary of terms, which gives us a common language to all work from. And then we have our equity commitments, and we have 7 commitments that serve to help us achieve our definition. So for the purpose of our meeting today, we're going to just spend some time on that equity definition. Okay. So can I get somebody to just come off mute and read our definition to us? And then while we're reading, I just want you guys to think in your head, like, what stands out to you? How does this definition relate to your core values that we just talked about? And how does this definition relate to you as a school district parent, a family member, as a teacher or community member. So have those things in your head while we are listening to the definition. Just come off mute, anybody can read it.
Equity at the SDP means to cultivate prosperity and liberation for students and staff, starting with historically marginalized populations by removing barriers, increasing access and inclusion, building trusting relationships, and creating a shared culture of social responsibility and commitment to organizational accountability.
Thank you so much for that. So that's a lot, right? I know for me, I had to read it a couple times and make meaning of it on my own to come to terms. So I guess after hearing that, you know, that first version, what kind of stands out to you about this definition? It could be a word, a phrase, anything. You could drop it in the chat or you can come off mute. You could talk about how does it relate to your core values, anything you want to kind of share.
I think the part about creating a shared culture of social responsibility, it made me think back to how we started this tonight with talking about community, and then also just kind of the accountability piece and how do we build this community when people are at so many different places, and still have that accountability as well.
I agree. That accountability word is heavy, right? And how do we do that? Like you just said, when we're all in different places. Thank you for that. Anyone else want to share?
I think the fact that building trust, relationships, I think the trust has been really destroyed within the school district of Philadelphia with parents and community. I feel as though if you're not honest with us, how do you expect us to trust you? Okay.
Yeah.
Because as I said, I also say that honesty is one of my core values. If you're honest with me, whether it's something I believe in or not, but if you're truthful and honest with me, then, you know, I have the option to investigate it myself and learn. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not always right. But the trust, I think, is lost. And without trust in something, then, you know, it's hard to create a culture of social responsibility. It's hard to, you know, remove barriers if I'm not trusting the fact that you say one thing and then do another, you know. So I believe building trust relationships is something that needs to definitely be worked on within the school district.
I agree. Like you said, we can't really begin to tackle the things within this definition if we don't address the trust issue, right? And begin some rebuilding from there.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Does anybody else want to share or add to that piece about the trust? Okay. So I want us to keep this in mind because we're going to dig even a little bit deeper now. And we are going to go back into like our smaller groups, and each group is going to be assigned a part of the Sdp equity definition. So the only thing that we're asking is maybe assign a note taker for someone to write on a Jamboard. And I'll show you what that Jamboard looks like. So together with your group, you're going to discuss your section of the definition, and you're going to use the questions below as a guide to you. So the two questions are, what does this part of the definition mean to you, right? And you can apply that piece to your context and summarize it in your own words and consider how it relates to your core values again. And what do you need from your school, your teachers, the administration, school support staff, curriculum, resources to make this definition really come to life, right? For you, your community, your family. And then we'll come back together in this space and just share with the whole group as to what we came up with. So I want to show you guys the Jamboard really quickly. Are you able to still see this? Just a thumbs up if you can. Okay, thank you so much. So each breakout room will get a group. And for each group, you're going to have a particular part. So group one, you're focusing on removing barriers, that particular piece of the definition. Breakout room two, you're going to work on increasing access and inclusion, right? And you're going to answer these two questions. Group three, you're going to talk about building trusting relationships. How can we do that? Group four, you're going to talk about creating a shared culture of social responsibility. And then group five, you guys are going to talk about commitment to organizational accountability. And when you want to add a note in Jamboard, you just simply take that sticky note and you can type into it, and then it'll appear on your page. Okay. So I'm going to drop the link to the Jamboard in the chat, and then we'll go into breakout rooms. Let's see. Amanda, are you able to help me?
I put it, yep, I just put it in there, Brittany.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Just thumbs up that you can open it.
Okay. 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 I'm going to go to breakout room 5, okay? We said 8 minutes for this? Yep, okay. Are you in a room, Aisha? You okay? Okay, Aisha.
She's in room 1. I'm joining her, I think.
All right, I'm bringing everyone back now. Ooh. I'm so sorry. We're going to wrap it up really soon. Okay, some people still having conversations. They're coming. All right, so I think we all are back now. We had some rich discussion. If we want to kind of just go through, some highlights from each room, or some rooms just want to share, we can. Rhonda, it's up to you. I think you're on mute, Rhonda.
Yes, I'm sorry, Brittany. I was trying to text you at the same time.
No, it's fine. I understand if you have to, it's okay.
Yes.
Okay, no, I got it.
Okay.
So if anybody from any of the rooms can share the removing barriers, the increasing access and inclusion, building trust and relationships, creating a shared culture of social responsibility, and commitment to organizational accountability. That was my group. We had a rich conversation. So anything that came up, any highlights, what did it mean to you? What do you need from your school? Don't be afraid. You could just come off mute, talk, you can share.
I can share from our group, at least. We had a great conversation. We were talking about removing barriers. Mm-hmm. And we sort of started from the place of, you have to have empathy and understanding to really remove barriers in an appropriate and equitable way, because if you don't have an understanding of the community and the stakeholders in each school, you're not really going to understand what the barriers are. So we just talked about, the importance of that empathy and understanding, having respect and listening to the community members and what they need and want, because that's the only way you're truly going to know what barriers need to be removed for each person to be able to experience the educational programs equitably. And so that, some of the things we said we needed were communication, which needs to be both ways. Like
you can go to
the district needs to be able to communicate with families, but families also need to be able to have their voices heard.
Okay.
There needs to be transparency and honesty, and the information needs to be, detailed, concise, and really understandable.
Most definitely. Thank you.
So I don't know if the rest of my group want to add anything else to that, but it was a good discussion.
What about anybody from group 4? Wanted to share anything? You guys have a lot here. Need district to begin with strengths and assets of students and families rather than what is typical, beginning with deficits and weaknesses. More opportunities for families to engage more than negative calls and report cards. I hear that. Then my group, we kind of said trust was that overarching theme, equal access, meeting students and families where they are, support for staff and families. Decisions should be complete, not piecemealed. That's something that was ringing through. So thank you guys for taking time to really dig deep with this particular piece. I think it's important for us to know where we stand, what we've come up with as far as our definition, and what do we need to do when it comes to helping us move forward. So I'll turn it over to Carrie now. And
I just want to check time. It is 7 o'clock and I want to respect people's time. And so I'm gonna go through the slides. and ask you just to consider the questions, and we can return to them next time if that's okay with the other facilitators.
Yes, fine.
Everyone involved. So when we vision the things we're thinking about, or what are some of the things that we're already seeing in our schools that meet this equity definition? What are some things we want to see from our schools in order to make this definition a reality? And what are some of the things that we can do to make these things happen? So some of the strategies, the next slide, are to access the parent portal to receive information about your children, the school, and the district. Take advantage of the resources offered by the Office of Family and Community Engagement, including constituent concern resolution, family academy, courses and training, free workshops for all families. I know I personally get those texts from the FACT messaging, multilingual family support, other programs and services. Apply and join your school's school advisory council, home and school association, friends of group, and parent teacher association. Attend and leverage school activities to advocate for the needs of you, your children, and community, and tell and collect stories around the issues that you care about. There is a link that I will put in the chat that is in there, the tell and collect. Yes, I have a hungry child asking me for more food. Jacob, 1 minute, please. There's a toolkit that is now linked in the chat. Going back to the slides, if we could. Thank you. Next slide. So really quick, what's one thing you could drop in the chat or on your mic yourself? We're such a small group. What's one thing you hope for your children in the school district of Philadelphia? I'll go first. The guy asking for more drinks, he's in kindergarten in the school district at our neighborhood school. One thing I hope for him is that he'll always love school. I don't look forward to the day when he says he doesn't want to go. And I hope that he's not asked for 13 years to memorize and do low-level thinking. You know, I want him to design and build and create and innovate. And what problem are you working on today? So that's one hope I have for Jacob. I'm going to pass to Wallet, my first partner. What is one hope you have for your grandchildren in the district?
Okay. My hope for them, for one that's in the school district, the other one's still a baby. I hope that he will achieve his creativity where he finds he fits in. If it's entrepreneurship, if it's college, if it's you know, whatever music, business, wherever he fits. His school that he is in believes in learning, creating, and projects. So use his mind the best for him. If it's working as a plumber, if that's what he thinks he needs to do, then I'm all for it, you know, but I want him to be the best that he is at whatever he decides he wants to do.
Would anybody else like to share before we end our time here? Lori, I think, are you talking to us, Lori? No. That's okay, but this was really great. We thank you for taking time with us today. We're going to leave it here at our reflective closure, and just hopefully, you know, this is just the beginning. We hope that we can provide more around our equity framework with the district. We thought the definition was a great starting point. So hopefully you'll see more coming from us, and we can continue this conversation, and it can carry over into our schools, into other spaces, so we can begin to build things back again and support that, create that level of trust, right? Like we were talking about. So we'll hang tight behind if you want to ask any questions or need anything from us, and you're free to log off. And we just thank you for taking time today with us.
Thank you. Can I just ask one real quick question?
Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
I know these go out, and this information does go out to our, you know, through the portals and things on that order.
Yeah.
As I said in my conversation earlier, we need to figure out other ways to get this information out so that more parents would be engaged to attend these type of meetings and training sessions. So I think that's something that we need to definitely put on the burner, not on the back burner, but put on the front burner and stew on for a while to see what we can do to get more parents involved. But I think mainly getting the information out in different other sources might help.
I know. And this was a push. We pushed a lot on the social media with the emails, but like you said, I mean, we have to think of other ways to continue to push if it's, you know, to make sure we're reaching everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook is probably good, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't look at the school district Facebook every day. I might look at it every now and then. It's not.
What are you thinking if you could
all the time?
If you could give one piece, like where do you think we're missing? Like as far as like, you know, just making sure we're hitting enough people. I know you said like radio, right?
Right, radio, newspaper. It's hard. Buses. You know, I mean, I find out more information on SEPTA sometimes than anything else.
You got a point there.
Because you're riding through and you see it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that happened or that's going to happen.
No, but maybe we need to join forces more as a district to make sure we're advertising fully with them. Now that you say that, makes sense.
Yeah, you know, because parents get on the bus every day to go to work. A lot of them. Signs in the train. I've seen signs in the train and on the L. So the subway. So, I mean, we got to come up with more ideas of how to make people see what's going on so that they can participate, you know, slap it in their face.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think one of the things I've been talking about with the school where I'm working at is, and I know this as a parent, you get so much information all the time, emails, text messages, emails, whatever. But I pay attention to what my child's teacher sends me, right? That's like, if my child's teacher is sending me something, I'm like, okay, I have to read that email. I might not have to read all the other emails that come through because if my teacher's sending me something, I have to read that.
That's a good guess.
So thinking about, and I hate to put more on teachers because they do so much already, but finding a way where that information can come in that one direct source where, you know, parents are really going to focus and pay attention to, because there's too many things. I can't, you know, we can't read all the emails. We just can't. Right? And I can't click on all the things that I'm interested in because I just don't have the time. So it's like, we have to prioritize. So thinking about, you know, how can we get that information to come through the teachers or the avenues where parents are really focused on prioritizing, because that's where they're going to pay attention. I know that's for me, at least, the way it would be.
Right. I was thinking too, word of mouth. Like, I mean, if your friend called you and said, hey girl, I'm going to this go to, then you might be likely to go, and someone else. So like if someone tells a friend, ambassadors, maybe, you know, old school, like I think that still works with word of mouth. If you're hearing it and someone else said it and it goes around, then you're like, let me check that out. Even on the Facebook, like sharing, I think on people's personal
Facebook. Yeah, I share on my personal Facebook different things that I get.
Right. And then if someone sees on your feed, then they'll, as opposed to the school district, because like you said, who's looking at the school district's Facebook? Nobody. But individually, if we have it, it would circulate. And then, you know, the phone calls, because we still have phones. Like even people
I listen to my phone.
That's true.
That's it. Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. It was good. I'm looking forward to the next conversation.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we'll keep them going. And we have
tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
I will. Yes. Next time I see it on my thing, I will actually put it on. I put something on my Facebook the other day. Oh, it was from the Philadelphia Home and School Council, where they're having this 100. I put that on my Facebook page. But as I see these from now on, I'll start to put them on my Facebook page too.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Have a great evening, everyone.
You too.
You too.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye, you too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you.
No, so wait.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Karen.
Can I stop recording now? Yeah.
Yeah, you can stop recording. Yeah, and